Violence erupted in Cameroon when presidential election results favored incumbent Paul Biya in October. Biya, the Constitutional Council said, secured 53.66% of the vote, defeating Issa Chiroma Bakari of the opposition, who garnered 35.19%. Cameroon's longtime leader is now set to remain in power for 7 more years, and the completion of the term will take him close to his 100th birthday. Electoral officials insist that the vote was free, fair and credible, but many voters are questioning the credibility of the process, with Chiroma supporters saying outright that the election was stolen.
We voted and we know that the majority of Cameroonians voted for Mr. Issa Chiroma, but today they are declaring the opposite, telling us that certain voting records were falsified, and even in the polling station where we voted, we are receiving messages that contradict the report we had at the time of counting. It's truly regrettable.
Analysts say such concerns are not unwarranted.
There has been ballot stuffing, and of course we've seen how there has been a lot of issues in tallying votes, especially in most remote areas in Africa.
So how can such issues that breed mistrust, dispute and protest be resolved? Welcome to the flip side. Multi-party democracy is no longer unheard of in Africa, and elections that are meant to strengthen it have done just that. And in the broader sense, the gains have been obvious.
Despite flaws, democracy has brought real progress. We have seen more engaged civil society, free media spaces, and youth movement holding leaders accountable, citizens who are increasingly aware of their rights and who are not afraid to demand transparency.
But every now and then, what should be a straightforward exercise in democracy where voters choose their leaders descends into disputes and unrest. Just recently, there was a disputed election in Mozambique, and scenarios not unlike what is now being seen in Tanzania and Cameroon have played out in countries like Cote d'Ivoire and Guinea in the past too. So why the deep mistrust about the electoral process?
Elections in many African countries have become more like rituals of legitimacy rather than genuine choices. So I think the challenge is more structural. In most cases, incumbents dominate the process from start to finish, controlling institutions, electoral commissions, the media, and sometimes even the court. People are not rejecting democracy, but they are rejecting processes that are empty and that do not translate into change.
A recent Afrobarometer survey showed that the number of Africans who believe elections ensure fair representation has steadily declined since 2008. Most still prefer elections, but many young Africans especially feel that current systems fail to deliver.
I want election process to be transparent. They should vote online. Then when they vote online, when you vote your person, you cast a vote, they will understand that this person has voted for this person. Because now we are in the 21st century that everything passes online.
The exclusion of such young voices is causing voter apathy to rise in many parts of Africa. Afrobarometer reports that non-participation in national elections went from 18.2% in 2001 to 24.7% in 2003. So what needs to happen to reverse this trend?
There is need to strengthen political institution, or you call it this institution that enhances or that are there to enhance the electioneering or the democratization process. Here we are talking about the institutions that are managing the election. There is need for that independent to exist, because in more cases you realize that the government influences some of the decisions.
Countries like Cameroon have a long way to go to win back the trust of citizens when it comes to elections. And experts are warning that democracy risks imploding if urgent reforms are not forthcoming.
If credibility continues to erode, elections risk becoming, source of instability rather than renewal. If citizens stop believing that their voice matters, then the democratic project collapse. It will collapse from within. There is a need to reform in order to make democracy real, or risk losing the progress that we have made over the past 3 decades.
And that's the flip side.